My name is Caleb.
My name is Joey.
My name is Spencer, and there's a fourth that's not here that you won't hear today.
And we're almost Anthem
We're
Live.
almost.
Chad is not here.
Yeah, Chad's unavailable.
We miss him.
I had a childhood aggressive fandom of Plus One.
Yes.
I was
So glad you
4
said that.
years old, and I would listen to the record that had Written on My Heart. And sadly, I don't remember any of the other songs now at this point. But Written on My Heart was my jam. And my dad was like, "You want to shoot a music video to this?" Because he was needing to test out some new video gear he had gotten for his business. So me and my little bandana, we went out to the driveway, and I was shooting basketball hoops and lip syncing to Written on My Heart by Plus One. And so actually years later, I came to Nashville and I got to meet some of those members, and I'm friends with like the sister of one and stuff now. And so it was just cool to see like that childhood fandom. I don't know where that video is. I gotta go find it. But
Yeah, you got it.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Plus One was one of the OGs. DC Talk. Everybody loved DC Talk.
Yeah. DC Talk was probably the one for me. I was a big DC Talk fan.
Mm-hmm.
But I also leaned more into like gospel music as a kid. So like Israel Houghton was my like musical father. Other than my own father. So and still is, honestly. I'm such a fan, and there's like he has so many concert DVDs and albums, and I've spent like countless hours trying to learn those songs on keys, and I still can't figure them out. It's just some of the most complex musicality that you can find.
I loved Avalon. That was like my jam. The first record I ever owned, the first compact disc that I ever owned as like a 8-year-old, 6-year-old, whatever, was Point of Grace album. So I loved Point of Grace. I loved a group. I don't even know if you guys know this group, but there was a Christian gospel group called Anointed back in the 90s that I really loved. For Him, I know Chad and I both were big For Him fans. Yeah, I mean, just any multi-vocal thing that was going on, I was into.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, two of those are like, to me, it's Backstreet and NSYNC. 98 Degrees was fine. They were fine, but I never like. I think they were a little bit older. Like they, at least from the perspective of like a 10-year-old kid, 98 Degrees felt a little older to me. So to me, it was always Backstreet or NSYNC. And I was an NSYNC guy through and through because of Justin and JC, and I loved those two vocalists predominantly, and they always sang lead. Backstreet Boys had some incredible songs, though. I think if it's just like who had better songs, I maybe would lean Backstreet Boys, but to me, the vocals were so much stronger in NSYNC.
Actually, when I was a kid and NSYNC and Backstreet Boys were cool, I, for some reason, thought I was too cool to be a fan. I was kind of like an emo kid, so I was into weird emo music, and I was like, oh, I don't need that. And then the phase kind of moved on when I moved out of that phase. So I didn't discover the greatness of boy bands really until I joined a boy band. I joined Anthem. I remember I was driving back and forth from Ohio to Nashville at the time, and the guys were telling me, they were like talking about how great NSYNC was and stuff, and I was like, I really missed out on a whole era.
Yeah.
So that drive back to Ohio, I listened to This I Promise You probably 30 times in a row, no exaggeration. I was just like, this is amazing. I missed it. So
Diane Warren's incredible.
So as an adult fan, I got to go with NSYNC just because, like Caleb said, the vocals. JT is obviously amazing, but JC, maybe one of the most underrated singers of all time.
Absolutely. I want to have that like almost Vince Gill like tone.
Oh
so
yeah,
good.
Butter.
Honestly,
Butter.
you guys you were a little after that era. I mean, you were kind of there, but
I was gonna say my childhood boy band was One Direction. Honestly, like that.
Wow.
Outside of the tail end of their careers, it was One Direction. Because after NSYNC and Backstreet, like there was nothing. Boys to Men kind of stuck around from the 90s and early 2000s.
Jonas Brothers a little.
Jonas Brothers, yeah, there's
That
like
was
a
a
Disney thing. But then One Direction came around, and I was just like, oh, so this is like boy band full on fever. Like I see the fans, like the way it all worked. Like it was just my version of it. But and I obviously I listened to a lot of One Direction more than I did NSYNC and Backstreet. So it was a good time, good era. One Direction and Justin Bieber, I think, are two of the bigger reasons why I wanted to start music, because they were all from like online / TV show mediums. Like Bieber blew up on YouTube, and that inspired me to like go and start doing music on YouTube. And then One Direction got put together on the X Factor, and I had tried out for a couple of those, or the American Idol thing we'd been growing up watching. So like it was cool to see that kind of pan out.
I'm just saying, if NSYNC and Backstreet Boys did a stadium tour, that would be insane.
Oh, it would sell out. Well, didn't Backstreet already sell out like a world tour recently?
Well, they're still doing their thing. They have residency and stuff in Vegas. But like, if both of them, if Justin would ever get on board and do that tour, that would be the most insane tour ever.
Yeah.